play Call of Duty. Go down with that chip.
No men.
So, Nick, you got anything you want to add to the roundtable too as well?
Yeah, so since we're talking about quarterbacks, and since I got the Jalen Waddle jersey hanging behind me over here, the shoulder, I'm a South Florida guy,
but sort of crooked.
Your face looks a little crooked, Kane. So here's the thing, dude. I think another guy, and we've kind of beat the drum on a lot of quarterbacks, but I think that when he was on the field, and this is just a conversation just to bring up to everybody because I don't know if it's getting enough. Actually, on our last mock draft, Jesse brought this up, and it was the first time that I'd thought about it all off season, which is Tua Tagovailoa and his brain. And is it okay? Where are we taking Tua? What's the earliest, or where does he have to drop for you to feel comfortable to take Tua as your QB1? I mean, there are some stats that are truly eye-opening. Jono was so kind enough to forward over to me. Let me see if I can find them. But if you project out Tua playing all 17 games last year, he throws for over 5,000 yards. It was 5,025, putting him at second. 37 touchdowns, putting him at second for an overall QB3 finish. And then Tyreek Hill and Waddle both have crazy statistics if they play.
They both finished top 5.
Tyreek Hill breaks the receiving record last year if Tua stays healthy.
No, I did the math with the whole Tua. He ends up being number 1 in receiving yards, but still doesn't break the record.
But all that said, how confident are you? And when it comes to draft time, is he a guy that you can feel confidently taking without a backup plan or with a backup plan, and in what round?
With a backup plan, for sure. So, with a backup plan.
I've done a short on this. I've done a short on this where I think if you look at the stats from last season, he can be a top 5 quarterback in this league, fantasy finish, if he stays healthy. That being said,
it's a big if.
That being said, I'm absolutely drafting a backup.
Yeah, you have to.
And that's the same said about Lamar Jackson, right? There's other guys there that because of the risk of injury, because of how they play or that their past history, like I'm going to go and draft a backup. I've been on record saying this, and Jono doesn't agree with this, and he doesn't agree with drafting a second guy. But
no, I say that in tight ends. I don't agree with drafting 2 tight ends.
Well, even in quarterback, if I'm not getting my top 3 guys, which are Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Pat Mahomes, anyone after that, I'm drafting a backup for, and I'm going to try to get 2 mid-tier guys. I'd rather have my option of Tua and Dak to play every week. Then grab Tua, he gets hurt, and then I'm scrounging up I'm picking up.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield. I'm never going to pick up Baker Mayfield, but Jimmy Garoppolo or Daniel Jones.
So what about the one I proposed before? You take Tua and then you take Carr in the last round of the draft.
Exactly. Yeah. Something like that where I'm able to grab a legit solid backup that I know if Tua gets hurt, Tua can go out and win me weeks, but if Tua gets hurt, I did it last year at the end of the season with Jared Goff. Jalen Hurts got hurt, and I had Jared Goff to win me a championship. And if I don't go make that move, if I don't go and make the move for taking 4 quarterbacks, and
if you don't go making the move to try and screw Nick over, then you don't win the championship.
I mean, listen, I had roster spots. He didn't.
Well, here's the thing.
I had Fab left. He didn't.
We know Mike McDaniel is a wizard, but I mean, there's only so much he can do unless he's wearing one of these giant friggin' helmets or something. What happens the first time he gets a concussion? How many weeks is he out? Given how they reacted to
it? I think the NFL reacted to that, right? The NFL came out and said that there needs to be independent parties that come out and do concussion tests. He's probably going to be missing. He's not going to play the next week. He's probably going to be missing at least 2 weeks after that.
And Mike White is there, so Mike White is a logical backup to have if you draft Tua. I mean, if you want to go that route.
I mean, maybe. I mean, I think that there's a lot Mike McDaniels can do. I mean, you kind of saw that this a little bit last year when Tua came back. Is there's a lot of short stuff. It's get the ball out of Tua's hand really quickly. Yeah. Run the ball, get the ball out of his hands. There wasn't a lot of 5-step dropbacks. Without them kind of scheming that in to where he's going to not get a lot of pressure against him. It's also training Tua to, don't get hit. Look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady late in his career.
Eli Manning.
Not Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, Eli Manning. Those guys, when they feel pressure, they just go down.
They're milk
Like-
toast, dude. They literally fold, but they don't like try and.
You
know,
got to
do too
imagine.
much.
You got to imagine they're going to be working on that this offseason.
Oh yeah.
Well, he already said that they were working. He was working with the Brazilian
Like, just
Jiu-Jitsu
fall down.
instructor on how to properly fall. So, I mean, I don't care what it takes. He's going to be on the field, and he's going to
So
do
with
everything.
that
in his
said,
power.
is it worth? Where would you take him?
To me, I like him so much, and you got to always draft like somebody's going to be healthy. There is an inherent risk with him, obviously based on last year, but I think our people are inflating it a little bit too much. I am taking
Right now, he's the 13th quarterback off the board.
I'm taking him inside the 10. I'm taking him inside the 10 for quarterbacks to throw. I'd
He's
probably take
named-
him as QB 7.
8th, 9th round is where he's being taken right now.
I'd probably take him, and I've got the names up over here. I'm obviously not taking him ahead of the top 5 because of just the upside there. But when I look at the rest of the guys on this list that are right next to his name, I'm definitely going to take him above Prescott. I'm definitely going to take him above Watson.
Take him over Rodgers.
I take him over Rodgers. I take him over Cousins. I take him over Justin Fields.
You take him over Trevor Lawrence.
I take him over Trevor Lawrence.
Wow.
But here's the thing:
You
you're taking.
essentially have him as your number 6.
It was his. Yeah, I have him. I essentially have him as my no, because I have. I think I have Lamar Jackson as my number 6.
I thought you just said you take him over Lamar Jackson.
No, I take him over
Trevor
Dak
Lawrence.
Prescott, Trevor Lawrence,
Okay.
Deshaun Watson. So I've got Mahomes, Allen, Hurts, Burrow, Jackson, and Herbert all above him.
I mean, I probably have him there on my 8th quarterback. Yeah, he's within my top 10.
I take him over Fields. I'll take him over Fields too.
He's right there with Fields with me.
Because
I'd probably-
to me, it's just going to come down to total yardage versus touchdowns. I just think the touchdowns he's going to have more. I mean, he was on pace for 37 last year, not getting hurt, and that's on pace. Like he had a chance to be more than that in 3 or 4 touchdown games.
Yeah,
And
how many
he's
times did we see him throw a 5-yard pass to Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle and then do all the work?
gone.
He doesn't need to do it.
So this one kind of ties into where I wanted to go next. So
Yeah, let's go for it.
what I have to say is I tend to look for risk mitigation, and especially with someone like Tua, that if is a huge if, So if I'm staring down the barrel and I have a Tua, or I have, who was one of the other guys you mentioned,
Dak,
Dak or Deshaun
Dak.
Watson.
Trevor Lawrence.
a Trevor Lawrence, I would probably tend to lean that Trevor Lawrence way, just because that's what would factor into how I would play it. Because
I mean, you already said it with the Brees Hall and ETN. You'd rather have ETN just because he's not coming off an injury. So it falls in line with kind of like that same mentality. I just think that they're with those guys, that their ceiling is so much higher, and they still have a decent floor. It's hard for me to pass up on that risk.
Yeah.
But I see where you're coming from. I understand like the risk mitigation on that. But that's
But
why
do you
go
mitigate that
Jones
risk? Yeah,
go and
with a
get him.
backup.
There's no question
this
that he's a multi-week absence guy. Probably, if he goes down with a concussion.
But concussion. But concussions are different than like these soft tissue issues that people have.
Sure, yeah,
They're unpredictable. So that being said, unless you're Austin Collie, but that being said, because of that, you can't predict that he's going to be out. If he gets one, yes, it's multiple weeks. But I'm predicting that he's not going to have a concussion all season, and he's playing all 17 because of that. But Kane, let's keep.